Hello everybody, I'm Debbie Indihar Giordano of Master Brokers. Welcome to my weekly update. It's the last Monday in February, so we're wrapping February up pretty quick, 2 months into 2026. And it's already been a really good year. It's been a very productive year. I've closed a considerable amount of transactions, closing one today. And so things are moving along despite the stock market had a little bit of a dip today, but that's because of Trump and the tariffs and all the things that goes on with that noise. But that does not really affect our home buying and selling market. So I had shared with you last week the good news that I was awarded by the Santa Clara County Board of Realtors as the top 1% of all realtors brokers in Santa Clara County. So I went in a little deeper to have a look into my career, and I've got a flyer that just got printed with my printing company, and I'll be mailing that out to the 4,000 homes in Milpitas that get my marketing material. But I thought I'd share some really cool numbers with you. I'm pretty proud of this. So my career volume is $683 million in closed sales, and the career homes sold, I've closed 1,158 homes over my career. That's a lot of transactions, a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs along the way, but it's been very, very good. And actually in the flyer, it talks about my last volume for last year, and that was, I closed 38 million. So that's where it put me in the top 1%. And so I want to go over the areas of Milpitas that I actively work. If you're in the Parktown area, I work that area. Hidden Lake, that's the one where I closed today. That's the Duet Homes right off of North Milpitas Boulevard. Scott Creek Highlands and Weller Ranch, that's over by Scott Creek Road in the border of Fremont. Those are the large homes there, 10,000 square foot lots, beautiful 3-car garage executive homes. Cortland Estates is another area. That's another Duet home area they have no HOA dues, so that's a very attractive market there. They do have one common wall, and those homes were built in the 1980s. And then the Manor area, actually that's where I grew up in Milpitas on Butler Street. So that is the older section in town. That's one of the longest established neighborhoods in the city of Milpitas. So I work that area. And then Ridgeview Estates and Foothill Estates. Those are the other areas that comprise my 4,000 homes that get my marketing and my calendars. I hope if you do get a calendar at your door, you enjoy using it. That's kind of cool. Those are 11 by 17 calendars. Kids use that for their homework or keeping track of that. I've had one gal that used to keep her water consumption on the calendar. So they're kind of fun to have. So I hope you enjoy that. All right, let's get busy here. Let's talk about interest rates. So where are we at today? We're actually looking good. The interest rate quote that I just got off the press from my lender today talks about the interest rates are near 3-year low, and this is in the face of the federal minutes being released. So there'll be some news coming out, economic news shortly, and what they're going to talk about is the consumer confidence, the PPI, and the short-term treasury notes will be on deck to talk about what's going on with the economy. 30-year fixed rates, I'll tell you today, is at 6.075. 15-year fixed conforming is at 5.49. So those are looking good. 30-year fixed jumbo is at 6.25, and 15-year fixed jumbo is at 5.625. So I have some fun things to talk about. I got a great article yesterday in the San Jose Mercury News that says Design Recipes, the Lure of Lacquer. Once considered over the top and showy, lacquer is making a comeback. The finish is now considered to be both modern and current, and is being used in a variety of spaces in the home, from living rooms to bedrooms. So one thing it does is it contrasts the shine with matte materials. You use a lacquer furniture to help make a statement in the house. Use interior color, and lacquer pieces by design will bring capacity to a space. Be conscious of reflective surfaces such as mirrors and lighting. Lacquer is a high shine, and it will not only reflect, but it could hurt in some areas that are too light. So you choose high quality pieces. You use lacquer to help modernize a space. Consider using elements of interesting shapes such as oval and those shapes which are organic. Be restrained. Don't be sure to not overload a space. So that's one thing my stager does. a very good job of is she does a very, I would say, a neutral staging. It's not over encumbering. Not every wall has paintings or accents on it, so it doesn't get too busy. So look for that. And then last but not least, we'll talk about what the listings I have coming up as I close the video. But this is another great article in the Milpitas Post last Friday. Understanding your real estate partnerships. This is a guide to agency and non-agency relationships. It says buying or selling a home is often the biggest financial transaction of a person's life, and I totally agree with that, and I'm sure you do. When you embark on this journey, one of the first and most important decisions you will make is choosing a real estate professional to work with. So the real estate agent is explained as a professional who becomes your agent when you hire them to represent you. And we have different kinds of agencies. So the single agency is the most straightforward arrangement. This is where they do one side of the transaction in representing a buyer or a seller. Now a dual agency is wherever the agent represents both the buyer and the seller, and that's legal and that's allowed by law. Some people frown on that. They don't believe that's ethical, but as long as it's disclosed to both sides, it may be a benefit to be able to put a transaction together with the buyer and seller meeting in the middle and having that realtor do that work. So making the right choice for you. You are not required by law to enter into an agency if you choose to be permitted to use a partnership in your state. However, remember that realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, and they do take a specific pledge in order to represent you. So California, we have a California Association of Realtors where our forms are, we call them the CAR forms, and myself as an agent has access to all those type of forms that have been produced by attorneys to help to safeguard the transaction, that it's done legally and up to speed. So let's talk about what we've got coming up soon. So 247 Delia Street in San Jose, that's at the base of the Allen Rock foothills. Just talked to the estate sale person today, which by the way, I have a great person that can clear out the house if you're worried about clutter or things that you have accumulated that you need to get rid of to sell the home. So they're going to be working on that next week. We'll be then painting the home, maybe some new flooring. I'll have to decide once I see it cleared out, and that should be coming on the market soon. That's 2,100 square feet, good size home, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's on a corner lot in a great neighborhood, well-established neighborhood where a lot of the original homeowners are still there. So the home will need updating or remodeling, but we're going to let the buyer do that. So price point on this one is $1,398,888. Good price. So look for the next few videos and I'll let you know what the process is for that one. And then we're still waiting on 390 Monmouth Drive in Milpitas. That's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,775 square feet. We'll see when that one gets ready. It's 1.7. And last year I talked to the sellers at 385 Monmouth Drive and 497 Heath Street, both in Milpitas. So we'll find out if they're ready to go this year. So if you are ready and you want to meet with me and we can talk about getting your home ready for this amazing market, give me a call, 408-945-8988, or an email, giordanodj@aol.com. And the website works too, debbiegiordano.com. There's a connect tab. A client just did that last night, connected with me, and I'll get them a CMA, what's that? It's called a competitive market analysis on the value of their property. So talk to you soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.